IWEF's Mind Education is receiving great response from governments and education officials around the world. What is the fundamental driving force that will change this era and society? Recognizing that there is a change in mindset, the governments of foreign countries felt the need to change first in the government and education sector leading the country, and in cooperation with IWEF, they are conducting mind education for high-ranking public officials and practitioners in education. In addition, more and more people are visiting Korea, where mind education began, to complete mind education. Meanwhile, on the 25th, 10 high-ranking officials from Kenya's Ministry of Public Service, Zambia's Public Service Management Department, and Youth Sports and Arts Department visited Korea as delegations from each country to complete the mind education course. In particular, the Kenyan delegation is composed of high-ranking officials at the director level, including the first-level civil servant, assistant secretary, and they are the highest-ranking members of the mind education team, which was formed under the special instructions of Kenyan President Ruto, who met Pastor Oxapark in March.
The music we enjoyed was very powerful and also very nice. Part of it is music that was created in Kenya, and when we found it here, we were very impressed, and that is wonderful. I'm sure the way you do your things is very different from the way we do them in Kenya, and probably that is why you have grown so fast in the last 60 years. I know that in 1964, Korea was at par with Kenya, but today you are way ahead of us. We would like to know the miracle.
On the 26th, the second day after arrival, the full-fledged schedule began at the IWEF Education Center in Suwon. At the opening ceremony held earlier, representatives from each country introduced the participants in the training course, gave brief impressions, and pledged to faithfully participate in the week-long IWEF Mind Education program. During this week, the delegation will continue mind education and group discussions at the IWEF Suwon Center in the morning, take part in external schedules such as industrial tours in the afternoon, and various meetings prepared for the delegation in the evening. Mind education that took place right after the initiation ceremony. Korea, which had nothing to possess in a land devastated after the war, was able to achieve remarkable development thanks to the change in thinking. A lecture was held where you can clearly feel why the mind education that makes this possible is necessary and important. Based on the contents of the lecture, the delegation continued to make presentations on measures and plans for the direction of education while talking to each other.
Things that I've picked is about thinking deeply about the problem, then also thinking differently. The Koreans looked at their problem, they changed their thinking and their way that they want to hand over, not the poverty. They were in poverty, but they want to hand over to their children something different, so that they are not going to continue being poor. So that is something that I've picked. So then you change your heart. So with that, basically you can develop your country. Yeah, so that is what I've picked. It is something that is good.
In the afternoon, I left the Suwon Center and visited various places where I could see Korea's development and present. On the 26th, a delegation visited the Saemal-Undong History Museum in Seonam. It was time to seriously consider the development direction of each country while looking at the current status of Korea's economic growth achieved by using the spirit of the Saemal-Undong as a universal action index.
From my own point of view, the learning here is very valuable. The Saemal-Undong spirit that we are seeing here is a replica of some of the philosophies that were started by our leaders in the early 60s, 70s, 80s, like humanism, which pointed to the contribution of each individual to development, taking it personal, being diligent about it, and working together as a community. So if this kind of learning was to be reintroduced and inculcated in the minds of the young people, I think things will change. People are educated now, they are more informed than those who were there before. but even the education hasn't changed much in terms of performance. So the minds are the ones that are at the center of everything. If they are not changed, the academic qualifications not changing.
On the 27th, he visited the Suwon City Council. After touring the main facilities of the council while listening to an explanation of the role and functions of the city council and the duties of city council members, Suwon Special City Mayor Ki Jeng Kim welcomed the delegation. Kim Ji-jeng, Mayor of Suwon Special City, thanked UEF for taking the lead in visiting Korea and conducting on-site training, and discussed establishing a cooperative relationship for the development of human resources for civil servants. In addition, they agreed to exchange and cooperation, saying that if there is data needed for the development of their country, they would actively provide it in cooperation with the city.
I think that the relationship between Africa and Korea, especially Suwon Special City, can be a motive to share more. So, if you have a chance in the future, we would like to share a lot of data with you and experience the real you are the world.
Dediok Lincoln Middle and High School, which educates teenagers based on mind education, also left a deep impression on the delegation. When the mind education they personally experienced in Korea was applied to students, the delegation, who were very interested in what kind of practical effects and results it would bring, met active and enthusiastic students in the classroom where classes were in full swing. Also, at the welcome event held in the auditorium on the 4th floor, the stage of the students with bright smiles convinced the delegation of the expectations they had for mind education. During this period, the mind education program that was held every morning, among which action learning received a great response from the delegation. Knowledge education cannot change people's minds. As a discussion program was held by each team under the theme of how to develop thinking skills, they shared their ideas and suggested new ways to solve problems. The delegation also actively participated in the lively and energetic program and had a fruitful time. In addition, lectures on various topics were continued, focusing on the exchange of thinking and material skills. With the belief that if leaders who will lead a country develop their capabilities, it will be the cornerstone of national development, the delegation paid great attention to the lecture and approached it with a serious attitude. High-ranking officials in Kenya and Zambia gained here the gift of wisdom and change that could not be obtained through any education. A week passed and the completion ceremony was held to announce that the mind training course had been completed. I have finished my course in Korea, but there are many more things to do when I return to my country, and I can go back with great expectations and hopes.
This has really been an eye-opener for me. You know, some of these things, you just hear about them like that, and you see some short clips, people talking about mind education, but getting an opportunity and going through the talks that we've gone through, the lectures that we've had, it's really opened a new dimension. I didn't even think that there's so much to it. So I'm really grateful. At the national level, I think for us is to carry the message, try and go along this path, but I think we need to get a little bit more into detail, because from what I've understood, 1 week is not enough. We need to really coordinate with the IYF center that we have there, and then just have this on a regular basis, and then maybe to become part of our system. And then from there, that's when I think we'll see the change.
Mind education that will open a new horizon for youth education and development of one's own country. It is hoped that mind education will bloom more in each country and lead to beautiful fruits through those who return to Kenya and Zambia with unprecedented hope.